Morning Tiny Tellers Adventures, and welcome to another video, a unique video for the channel. So today I'm going to be doing the Valhalla VIP experience beyond the walk. As you can see, there's already a queue forming behind me for the tour. So this is a unique experience that Pleasure Beach are offering at £250 a person. Very expensive, but I'm a huge lover of the ride. I've got a massive passion for this ride. It's my favourite ride on park. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the behind the scenes tours and just seeing it for myself. So join me as I'll be taking you through the experience. And yeah, let's go join the queue and I'll take you guys along. So guys, we've just had a safety briefing and we're now just walking into the ride, or towards the back entrance of the ride. Hopefully you can hear me okay, because yeah, I'm all new to this on my own. Yeah, we'll see what happens, so I will see you shortly and I'll record what I can. Wow.
This is the top of down to one. A boat would actually stop here on these boots of rail, lift the boat up out of the water, and then just get on the ground on the runway.
This is amazing, you can just smell the water.
Even in a power park, the boat goes down around here. So this is why we thought on this side. This is the first drop. The water's on the second water.
So just a little bit about this machine here. When we re-imaged the rides, obviously we've got mist effects, like this effects that go around the outside the lagoon. So this controls that. We used to use a system called MeFog, which is American. But when we re-imaged the ride, we went to a UK company called CoolFog. So basically this machine is all the steam effects, not the steam like you see fake fires, but mist. So basically what happens in here is we've got a salt bucket and a water housing bucket. So the salt will mix with the water, it takes all like the minerals, the lime scales and stuff like that out of the water. Then it gets pumped through these three pumps here. One of them is a UV pump. The purpose of that is that will kill all bacteria and diseases in the water before it gets any further. So this is these are your two main pumps. This is your UV pump, this is the one that kills everything. It then goes into your three main pumps. So you've got main pump 1, 2 and 3. 3 only runs when 1 and 2 need help. So 1 and 2 constantly run, 3 to backup. So basically you come through there into these. These then pressurise the water to a high pressure system. And then goes into this control valve system here. Through these high pressure valves, all the way into the show building itself. The furthest point we've got it is in the flavouring. So think about it, we've got these running here, straight through to the side of the building. You can isolate each valve, there's 1, 2, so we're going to work at any point, just isolate it, turn them on, turn them off, as we're going to work on it. So this machine here only does all your steam from like outside the top of the old turntable used to be, all outside the front, where the dark tunnel where the waterfalls used to be before you went onto the turntable itself, steam flex there, and a couple of side stairs.
Don't forget the tall one behind you as well.
Wow. It's like some out of Narnia.
And as Adam said, some of these are actually based on real life staff members and various tasks. So that one's Mr. Batman. And that one, I think, is Rob that works in our animations department.
And all they asked me to do was
Basically this pumps out, creating smoke, and then the smoke machine is from behind the boat, so it pumps the smoke. So you've got low level smoke.
Well, that's why it looks full.
yeah. So just come out and shoot one. Oh my god, that was so scary. We had to like go where the ice room was and go backwards, by down the stairs.
Well, it's been bad
Yeah.
because we've been doing.
Hopefully you like the footage so far, guys, and I'll carry on recording on the next section.
Whatever we refer to it as. So, I'm just going to try and give you a quick visual tour of what does what, and if you want to ask me anything, please feel free. So behind you there, all that equipment and the back of it is purely to do with power that comes into this building. So Valhalla uses a lot of power, so there's a lot of equipment associated with it. And also from here we feed Sunshine Building, which is our canteen area, and the backstage area of the Globe Theatre. So a lot comes from here. This is actually where the audio itself is being passed around the rack, is it uses Dante, which is a network-based protocol, to pass the audio through pieces of equipment. So there's 3 units that say Pro Tracks on the front. That's where all the sound of the ride is stored. So every single trigger and loop bit of audio is on those 3 units. Then they come out of that and go into the unit directly below, and it gets converted onto the Dante protocol, which goes down the audio cable, and it ends up here in this symmetrics unit with the blue screen. So every input and output goes through that symmetrics, and that's where we program it to say this needs to go here, here, and here with a bit of that. If the microphone is used, then please turn that down and push that there. So there's a lot of programming in that unit, but that's the main processing power to the audio. Then out the back of that, again using Dante, it goes through the 12 amplifiers, and then from the back of that, the cables go into this box here. There's all the cables coming out from the rack, and then they go out on multi-cores, and then they go to 7 boxes around the ride. So that we sort of split the ride into 7 zones from a audio-visual perspective. And then when you get to each of those zones, Dave will show you one when you're in the workshop, we then split off into each speaker circuit. And we did all this new when we did the project. Actually, the audio used to be in the next door building previously to that. So we upgraded all of that. But I'll show you around the back, is the back of this rack, so that had to conform to every curve being as identical as possible. So again, this very little maintenance in this. We can program it all from one point, and then beyond that, so I say that's only sound in Valhalla. And then up in that top corner is a grey cabinet. That's one of 8 cabinets. We call that AV main, and then in the ride there's 1 through 7 dotted around the ride. Each one of them has a show controller in it, and we use a system called Pharos that all networked together. So if a boat is in near Odin's Head, the top of lift 1, when it passes our sensor, that sensor goes to the cabinet there. That controller sends a signal down the network to this one here, and this one will then check the fire alarm, the e-stop, the ride is in auto, the AV system's on, and if it says all those things are okay, it sends a signal all the way back and says, yes, you can do that. But that happens like that. It's pretty much instant, happens in a frame. And then behind you, this whole rostrum of cabinets, that's all the intermin control systems. So that's all ride control. So that's lift hills, pumps, boost motors, blocking system. So there's quite a lot of it. The only exception is, as you know, during the refurbishment, we used to have 2 turntables. We used to turn people backwards, then turn them back to forwards. That was a conscious decision we made to stop that, because those 2 turntables caused more than 95% of the ride's downtime, because they were fussy. And the second one, where it used to put me back to forwards, actually looked like a dinner plate. It was a huge dinner disc, and it had holes drilled in it, and it used to work by counting the number of holes that it passed. So it would sort of say, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think that's right. And if the sensors didn't line up, the ride would say, well, no, that's not right, and then we'd end up having the ride having to stop. That row of cabinets, this first and all the rest of it, they deal with 2 things. The waterfalls at the front of the ride, which, depending on wind speed, wind direction, will dictate how many of those pumps we run. Because if the wind's in a certain direction and we run it at full pumps, you get Grand National. It's just a pain. So we really do monitor wind speed on that. Barking dogs, crashing logs, swinging chandeliers, the rolling spike, that all comes from here. when we were doing the project, originally it was all done in sort of one company did that bit and one company did these bits, and for me frustrating as I wanted to program it all as one. So we actually, our system at the end, we have connected to these, so every effect we can control in one timeline from one place. Just so I think it just means we can get it to time a bit better than before, rather than sort of saying, is it that or is it this? We can do it from one place. And the big one, well, fire alarm by the way. So if the fire alarm goes off, so we've got various interfaces, it's connected to intermin, to this, to everything. So as soon as fire alarm goes off, so basically there's a contact in there. So when the fire alarm goes off, it opens and all our stuff stops, because we look for that to be present, the same as the e-stop, and for me the right being in auto. Now the big one, this attraction services panel, this deals with the fire. There's another one of these panels inside the ride, and there's some smaller remote ones. Now, it's a pain, but when it works, it's fantastic. And we have done a lot of work on it to get it better. So this is looking for, as well as fire alarms, e-stops, and intermin being okay, and make sure your socks are pulled up straight, etc. It's also looking at, just behind you here, this environmental monitoring system. If you come round, you can have a gawp at it. So the fire room in the ride, I don't know if anyone's noticed this, is in a building within the building. So we've got the main Valhalla building, and there's another one where all the fire effects sit in, so it is sort of self-contained. And this system monitors the atmospherics in there at all times. And if it detects anything slightly skewed, it will turn it all off.
Well, we're coming out of where basically we went in now, and we're being led by Andy to where the station is. So I will show you what we see.
High and low speed button. So restart will start our conveyor belt in the station here, and then we have the stop button here, which will obviously stop the conveyor belt during operation. So this is open 99% of the time. This is where we space our bolts out. So today we're running 7 bolts. So we normally space, when a bolt is hitting at this point on here with the cameras, I don't know if you can see that, that's when we'd be set, obviously that's lift 1. We'd be sending out another bolt. That's how we space the bolts. Here we go to the main menu there, and I'm going to turn your eyes to the block status. So as you can see, it's all the different blocks of the ride. Lift 1 is currently red, and this is because we have a bolt at the bottom of lift 1 there. So obviously that adds up. We do have a bolt near the top of lift 2 there, but it's not actually flagging, and that is because the bolt has not actually hit the sensor yet. So that's why that one's not red. And then we have the remote panel status, which is, this is for the 2 big drops of the ride. Obviously, technically there's 3 drops in the ride, as you may know, but this is for the 2 big drops, run out 1 and run out 2. They're currently blue because we've already done the resets this morning. If we hadn't have done that, they would be red. And if a bolt was to pass that point during like automatic operation, it just wouldn't allow it if they were red, because you'd have to basically reset the note chutes there. I'm going to turn your eyes to the top screen now. This is everything to do with the turntable. So have you all been on the ride before? Yeah, so obviously at the top of the ride there is a turntable which flips the bolt around and sends it down what we call down chute 0. It's actually quite a small drop, but this is everything to do with that. So at the moment we're in manual mode, so some of these are highlighted red, and basically that's your automatic mode there. So I can actually flip the ride into automatic mode for you. And as you can see, they've all gone green, and you might notice a number there, and that's because there is no bolt on the turn at the moment. So obviously that adds up there. You've got 0 there, 0 bolts on the turntable. Flip the ride back into manual there. Down here we have our, what we call our AV system. This controls all the effects of the ride just with one button. So at the moment, you might notice it on standby mode or stop mode. If we put that into on, that basically means all the effects in the ride will obviously be turned on. As your bolt passes the certain effects, there's obviously sensors around the ride. They all get triggered off by that as long as that is switched on. And this is my favourite bit now, it's the messaging system. So the top 2 of ours there, that's for your inside of the ride announcements. So you've got things like put your hands inside the ride, keep your hands inside the boat, put your phone away, things like that. You may have heard them when you've been on the ride before. And my absolute favourite ones are these queue line announcements here. So you've got things like queue line delay, evacuation, and a boat. And what I'll do, I'll press one of them now for you.
Your attention, please.
It's just so satisfying to press it.
The ride is experiencing a technical.
And obviously we have a microphone if we need to tell anyone off in the station as well.
Oh, so there if the ride goes down?
Yeah, so obviously there's different ones. So obviously we have to get rid of the whole queue line, we have to press that one. If it was obviously a temporary stoppage, we have to press that one. If we're adding bolts to service, we'll press the other one. Yeah, that's one of my favourite things to do on the ride. It's very satisfying.
I like hearing them shout at people on the ride.
Is that your favourite thing? Yeah.
It's normally the guy, the bald guy, looks very angry.
Oh.
I won't mess with him.
So what I'll do, guys, I'll hand you over to Alfie now. Oh, sorry, before I obviously hand you over, has anyone got any questions they want to ask? Anything you've always been intrigued about?
It's just always in automatic, yeah.
So yeah, 9 times out of 10 the ride will be in automatic mode. The only reason we go to manual is if we have to move any bolts at the top of the ride or anything where we have to send staff to send things onto the turn or anything like that. But 99% of the time it is in automatic mode.
So you're just monitoring, basically,
Essentially, yeah. Obviously, the odd time, once all the bolts are spaced out, we will have to kind of part the bolts and then respace them. Obviously, if we have an incident in the station, we have to stop the boat. We may have to respace the bolts again. Yeah, apart from that, the ride is mainly in automatic mode. But the biggest thing in here is communication with your camera operator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So
does anyone know where originally, did anyone go on the original ride before it was reimagined? Do you know where the console was originally? So it was actually up there, wasn't it, on the balcony part? And that was actually only operated by one operator. So now, since the reimagined, we've actually made it so there's one person on console and one person on cameras. Originally, there actually only used to be 2 cameras. So now we actually have over 50. So as you can see, we can literally see every single part of the ride. So like you said before about sort of announcement inside the ride, if we saw someone mainly messing around, for example, in here or something like that, we would end up using our microphone here, which then you will probably end up hearing us. So yeah, like I said, the ride has 50 cameras. You can see from the very start of the ride, you just follow it along, and it's literally the whole ride. So on average, a boat from start to the very end of the ride here should be about 6 minutes and 30 seconds. If we ever a boat comes in maybe a bit slower, a bit faster, that's when we will start maybe respacing them back out again, like Ben was saying. Like I said, so there's 50 cameras now, and there used to be 2. It's just health and safety over the years and stuff, we need more stuff. So on this side here, which is this is all the stoppage points. So if the ride ever actually did stop during operation, the boats should end up here. So as you can see, there's a boat here. There's actually a boat on lift 2 here. So the only reason why a boat would ever not be in these places is that, for example, the big red button on there, that's an emergency stop, as you probably may know that's now. When that happens, all the water in this whole ride actually drains to the very bottom where the lagoon is. So it would actually come from the very top, so this is like a top section here, and all the water would come down. But because the ride has all the water in, and these are stoppage points, once a boat, for example, went over lift 1, if you follow me here, a boat would actually go here, but because there's no traction or stoppage points there, because the water's draining, it would actually get stuck there. So unfortunately, that's where sometimes the evacuations and stuff may happen in these areas and stuff like that. Like I said, we've got all these radios here. This is for our communication on platform with staff and stuff like that. And we're one of 3 rides which have a base radio, so that's when we need to call for actual help for stuff. We've got our tablet here. This is how we manage the throughputs and everything, stuff like that, for the ride and make sure it's working there. That's where our checks are. That's about it. I don't know if there's any questions about cameras.
What's that box above your head? Is that for their
That would
cameras?
literally just be for all the CCTV and stuff like that. Any more?
So with these cameras, you can literally see every second of the boat as it goes
I
round.
can literally, for example, right now, go in here, and if I wanted to go watch lift 2 where that boat was, click on it, and it expands it. But just imagine as well, the lights wouldn't be on, they would actually be dark, and it would all be in infrared. I think there is actually some infrared cameras to show you. So there's one here, so that's like a normal camera, and then if I clicked on this one, that's like an infrared one. So it's just in case, again, in these places that might be a bit harder for us to see, it might be a bit darker on the cameras, we have these cameras just to make sure. So yeah, any more questions or? No?
It's actually next to the main trough. I don't know if you've ever seen before, there's a set of gates that can open up and the boats can come off, and then they come into here, which is called a service trough, and then they go back onto the ride, inside the ride by the bottom of the lift. So obviously this one's come out, because we've got 10 boats in total, but most times we're running 8 boats. Sometimes it can run 10. So we swap the boats around on a rotational basis, so we might run boat 10 for a week, take boat 10 out, put boat 4 on. So while they're out, so basically they come in, they'll sit in the walls like that, we'll use these straps, which then hang over underneath the boat, so under the wheel arches, you can just see it. We'll sit under the wheel arches, we'll lift the boat out, and put it on trestles. I'll show you both down the bottom end. So
Guys, this is like incredible, really incredible.
That's a lift slat off one of the lifts. Basically, these rubber grooves are what hold your boat on the lift. I'll show you underneath the boat in a minute, but literally, so you've got a row of about 8 or 9 of these, which will be stuck underneath the boat. These rubber grooves will sit underneath the boat, and I'll show you the other side of the boat now to show you what I mean. Like we were saying earlier on, obviously the boats take up water. The idea is the boats drain on the lift. So the boats have these what we call baler systems. So as the water flows against it, it'll keep these closed. As it goes up the lift, the water inside the boat will come into this, and it pushes it open and allows it to drain. So these wear and sometimes take up water, so they come out, like I said, and put new balers on. That's why we stay with the old ones for now. I'm not saying they won't rotate them in the future, but when we looked into it, a fully valid boat won't run. A lot of money.
12 mil, 10 mil.
Yeah. When we re-imaged the ride, I know about the control system, I've mostly spoke to you about we updated the AV system within the ride. Basically now we've got 9 of these control panels inside the ride now, which are all linked back to the substation. So if we click the smoke at the top of lift 1, that sensor is situated at the bottom of the lift. So in the old days, the boats would go past the sensor, flag it, the effect would go off. Now, there's all these fail safes. So the boat will go past the sensor, it'll flag it, it'll flag in here to say that it's flagged that sensor. This one control box will then talk to all the other 9 control boxes throughout the ride, the main sub and the main operator's console, which you'll see in a minute, to check that there's no e-stops pressed, the ride's are automatic, AV systems are automatic, and that all fail safes are ready before it triggers that effect. So these are all constantly talking. So you think when you've got 8 boats going around, all these sensors being flagged everywhere, these are constantly talking to each other all the way around. If it finds any fault, it won't fire that effect. So that was a major upgrade inside the ride.
Guys, look at this. Whoa. Oh my god, I'm not looking at them. Guys, I'm not looking down, look at this. Oh. Yeah, look at that. So I've just been on the operator's cabin, had a photo taken. Yeah, now we're like, I think at like one of the last drop, I think the last drop I believe. Yeah, look at this guys. I do apologise if my video isn't the greatest because I know I've never done one of these before on my own. Oh my god, there is a lot of bubbles. Oh, wow. There is so much bubbles. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh wow, I'm taking my time up here. I am not the greatest for heights, as everybody knows. So I am not looking down. Oh my god. I do apologise anyone behind me. Oh. Oh my god, that was scary. I'm recording this as a genuine reaction, guys, of me. I am terrified. Oh, I'm not the best when it comes to heights. Oh,
Higher than I thought.
I know. We don't see it on the ride because it's too dark.
Is there any boats round or not? Any boats? It's not the rock
Yeah,
then.
no worries.
Then we can stop it whenever we want to.
It's fine.
Oh wow. That scared me walking up them stairs. It terrified me. Look at this though. I'm terrified but amazed at the same time. Like look, I'm shaking. But this is incredible to see. Remind me never to walk upstairs again. Oh. And Adam, you can edit this part out, I'm absolutely terrified. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Just a little step there.
Oh, I'm shaking. Oh.
Just a little step that's there.
Oh wow, my heart's beating so fast. They're saying something about the sending boats. I think they're doing checks and stuff, so we might have to stop on certain points, but we'll see. I feel like a naughty schoolgirl that shouldn't be in here, but it's incredible to see. Yeah, guys, we're now at the what used to be the backwards drop. Oh, look at that. Guys, look at this. I am absolutely shaking. Oh, it's incredible though. I think we're nearing the part where the hammer is, I think. That's the barrels. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there it is, the two sockers of the ride.
Let's have a tree. Be another player count. The tree is actually this gate, which tells us when people come into the
Bit of TV history. So these are the trees from Game of
We
Thrones.
also discover it quite high up, right?
Going down. This is good.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so I don't know where we're heights. Even though I've been on Grand National.
I'm fine with heights. I
Oh.
don't like water. So,
So water and heights.
always an odd choice.
So I think we're just coming down now, so I can see the ground, so I'm happy.
Well, as long as it's not me on fire, I don't mind it so much.
I'm going at like a snail's pit. Oh my god, I can see the floor. Oh. Oh, that was high up. But I did it, so I'm happy. Oh. So I think we've just finished the tour, and I think we're just heading towards back into Loki's now. I was shaking, that was so high. It was incredible seeing it though. It was just very high. You know, on video it doesn't do it justice, but when you're there, it's so high. Yeah, so we're now going into Loki's to have the banquet that's included in this event. So I'll get some shots of the food, and then I will do a wrap up for this vlog. So I'm hoping that you've all enjoyed the footage that I've got. Hopefully, anyway. But yeah, I will show you some food and then I'll wrap up this vlog.
Where that is.
Where the globe is?
Yeah, it's
Globe,
that side of this, the globe, yeah.
Syria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the morning after the Valhalla Beyond the Walk experience. Apologies for my voice, which sounds really croaky because I'm currently coming down with a cold. So that's why I thought I'd do this outro back home after our trip. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly talk about my thoughts and my thoughts on the staff, our group, the experience itself and the food, and do I think it's worth the £250 that were paid for it. So I'm going to talk about the staff first. Andy and Adam and all the other staff that were there were really good. They were always like somebody in front, somebody in the middle, somebody behind. You could ask them any questions you wanted, even if it wasn't related to Valhalla itself, because at the meal people were asking about Invictus and like other rides and other plans that the park have got, and they were being very open and very honest about everything. Obviously they weren't going to give too much away, because I did ask as well. After the experience, I did ask about River Caves, but they weren't giving anything away. But yeah, they were being really open and honest. You could ask them anything you wanted about Valhalla or about the other rides, and they were really good with the safety briefing. The experience itself, I mean, we was in the building good hour and a half, going through all the different areas, and it was just incredible to see it. So the ride was running round, we were in there, so it was cool to see that aspect as well. But yeah, it was just incredible seeing stuff that on the ride you wouldn't see it or you wouldn't know it was there. Our little group, so there were me, another lady, and then there were 8 guys, and we were all like just sitting and chatting after, and it seemed like a really good group. And a big shout out to the catering team at Loki's, because we had the meal and the food was amazing. They brought so much food out. They asked us what drinks we wanted. The food was amazing, like the potatoes, stuffing, all the chicken. Good to know as well, if you do book on this tour, if they do offer any more dates in the future, they do ask you at Loki's if you are vegetarian or vegan, so there is vegan and vegetarian options available if you don't eat meat or chicken, which is good because it caters for everybody then. But yeah, my overall experience was amazing. I do think it was worth the £250, and I'd recommend anybody that has a love for the ride, has a love for electricals or technology to book it if Blackpool do offer any more dates, which I'm assuming that they will be at some point soon. But yeah, that's my overall summary. I really enjoyed it. Definitely a once in a lifetime experience, really, seeing all that and seeing the secrets. But yeah, that'll be it for the video, guys. So I hope you all enjoyed my footage and my overall review. But yeah, if you want to consider liking, subscribing, if you've got so far into the video, feel free to do so. and me and Adam will see you in the next video.